touched on the G League thing. Do you see something like that and say, hey, if they found the loophole, is this something our staff's got to address, or is this something you look at and you decide that's not me?
Well, I think you got to keep evolving, whether we like it or not. We got to keep evolving. I hope that there's going to be some guardrails put in to where this isn't what we're going to have to deal with. But this time of year, we're out of scholarships, and so it's nothing that we're going to be looking into this year versus next year if that's something that we got to start looking at. But this time of year is kind of hard when you've already put your roster together, and I think Coach Izzo said it best. I saw his video last night, and if I could say amen to anything I saw, it was what Coach Izzo said, and I heard Coach Self was the same way. It's where our game's going. There are parts of it that I think we accept as coaches. There's other parts of it that you find embarrassing and ridiculous and shouldn't be a part of our game. And so until we get some governance that's going to get our game back to some kind of civility to where high school kids matter, junior college kids matter, guys that should have eligibility, that everybody's talking about the 5 and 5. If you go 5 and 5, where's it stop? Because now the kid that gets 5 and 5 has something, who knows why, and he wants 6, and he'll get 6, and then he'll get 7. We had a player be in school for 7 years. It should be the old rule: you get 5 years to play for, period. If you want transfer, I'm all in favor of transferring once. You're going to get that. You can do that once and do whatever you want. You have free agency once, but 24 free agency, I just don't think that's, and not so much about our product, because the product of college basketball is really good. The games are really good. They're very competitive. They're high-level talent. And I'm not talking about that, but I am talking about what college was set up to be and the education piece of what it was supposed to be. These are still young men trying to become men, and we're basically taking boys and telling them you got to be men without learning how to grind and fail and work through tough times and through tough challenges, go to class, get an education. We've almost done this to the education piece, and that's not what college was supposed to be about in any way, shape, or form, student or student athlete. And those are kind of my biggest issues of what going to college is really meant to be about.
Does that affect, most coaches, I feel like, they get into coaching because they genuinely love it.
Right.
Does that eat at you some, saying well, what are we doing?
Well, I think
you share the same
I do think you see a lot more coaches that will be really trying to decide which level they want to go to now. The NBA level, the G League level, or the collegiate level. And what we're seeing is really those levels all being the same now. So those of us that got into it 35 years ago, I was a coach's kid. My dad was a high school coach. Coach Neal's on my staff. His dad was a coach. We got into it because we wanted to work with young people that were concerned about their degree and education and learn about basketball, and then you go to the pro level. Or you get into professional education of whatever your degree is. Now that's basically 18-year-olds are being thrown into a professional sport model. And so that's very different. So young coaches now my age, or not my age rather, that are getting into coaching, now you got to make that decision. Coach Neal and I just got done playing in the NBA, but we wanted to be in college because of the way college basketball was. It's a little bit different now.
Do you think if you were that age now, you'd be more hesitant on getting in it?
If this was me coming out of the NBA now after 4 years, I would definitely be open to talking about NBA coaching much more than what I was 35 years ago.
You see the European game, with some of the pros being able to come down too. Is that something you have pinpointed on saying maybe we target that moving forward?
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of international recruiting. I think that's going to be taking place, and so you got to have the budget to do that, to send coaches overseas and those type of things. But we played a game. I think the shooter from Utah was 4 years in the German league. So, I mean that's way more experience than a high school kid. So it's just a different model now.
So do you think though, you'll be? How does that work? Would you go over there, or do you just?
Yeah, there's obviously a lot of different avenues of gathering that information, but there's FIBA games. There's a lot of games that are going on overseas, even in the summer. So just like we're recruiting AAU events, now you're sending coaches overseas. We sent a coach over to Greece this summer, so you're sending coaches
nice
now.
Trip.
Yeah. So
Press come?
It's exactly.
Good thing.
You mentioned a lot about turnover with teams in the portal, especially in the league. How are you able to sustain rivalries in that sense from a league perspective?
Yeah, hopefully, and obviously we'll have a split next year. The leagues will split up and those type of things, but we got to hope. I know this is my 13th year in the Mountain West now, and I've been 18 years out west. Since I left Iowa in the Midwest, I've been out west 18 years, and in those 18 years, I was telling somebody that the other day, even my 6 years in the 5.5 years in the Pac-12, in my 18 years, there would be a big argument that the Mountain West has been the better basketball league than the Pac-12. I think facts would show that I'm right in those 18 years. But now, and we got to hope that we can sustain that in the Mountain West. I think it's going to be our biggest challenge now moving forward with the split and after this year. So the Mountain West has done a great job. From Gloria and her staff and everybody, they're doing a great job to make sure they're putting us out there on the forefront. And I think that's why we've been a multiple bid league for a lot of years. And when I say multiple, it's like 3, 4, 5 making it to the tournament. So we got to try to sustain that some way, because this has been a big time basketball league, and that's why I enjoyed it. And as you mentioned, rivalries. We got great facilities, we got great fan bases, you got very good coaches and outstanding players. So you don't want to lose that. And so we're going to have to really pay attention to that as we move forward.
Are you going to try to schedule any of those teams?
Yeah, I think you're probably going to see that. I think you probably have to, because we're going to 32 games next year. So next year our league's only going to have 18 league games. So that means we got to come up with 14 non-league games. So I think you've got to reach out to those teams that now are leaving the league and stuff, and probably getting some home and homes, and I think it's good. Those are good games to have, and you can hopefully sustain some of those rivalries that are going to be lost in splitting it up. That's it.